When I get up to 365, this will be a tri-weekly. It's Comics and Shots, a completely improvised semi-comedic musing by Howard Stern's Mick the Nerd, aka YouTube and TikTok's Mick the Man, aka Mick the Maverick, aka Itch Your Legs, who were they scratched? Today's subject, Miles Morales Spider-Man by Cody Ziglar, starting 2022, still running, and why it's better than the 2022 Amazing Spider-Man run. Notice how I don't say Zeb Wells Spider-Man, because Joe Kelly is a part of this mess as well, and I love Joe Kelly, but we all remember that weird Spider-Man Black Cat Vacation issue where Paul and MJ just happened to be in the exact same resort. Terrible. Also, there was a stupid version of the Sinister Six, as if we needed another one. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about Miles Morales. Cody Ziglar's work. Miles Morales Spider-Man. It's just what Spider-Man should be. Personal, reflective of the young adult experience, and also, put a twist on it, reflective of the young black experience. A large portion of the series is based on Spider-Man being a mentee to Misty Knight, an adult black superhero, and they even bring up how important it is for young black people to have black mentors. And that's good. The drama between Miles and Peter might be admittedly overblown, even by the book's own admittance. Like, Miles feels bad for blowing up at Peter for ditching him. Of course, that's more editorial's fault for having it so that Peter just fucks off for 6 months, apparently. And apparently, the 6-month time skip only affected Spider-Man books. It's very confusing. No one understands what's going on. If you understand what's going on, you live in the Marvel Universe, where it's happening. If you're in our universe, you don't understand. It's confusing. Also, Miles has a lightning sword. You can make a Venom sword. You can make a sword out of lightning for some reason, and it's just great. But let's talk about the most beautiful thing about it. Miles gets a new villain in The Rabble. It's beautiful. A new villain in a Spider-Man comic that's not derivative of anything. Don't get me wrong, derivative doesn't always mean bad, but it's just nice when it's a generally new idea. Miles, as you know from his origin, he was 42 out of 100, and his number got picked out of a lottery for the Beacon School, was it? That's it, I think. Yeah. And the Rabble, Raneem, she was 41. And if that didn't piss her off, her mom died like a month before, her dad emotionally checked out, then physically checked out, leaving her the store, leaving her to her own devices and her own technopathic abilities. And she's the definition of both projection and totally justified in hating what Miles Morales represents. Not Spider-Man per se, but Miles Morales. Someone who got into a very good school not based on educational merit, but because of a lottery system. And within the context of the current story, he barely even deserves to be there. He's late for school all the time. He's not the best student. Yeah. Meanwhile, she's a literal tech genius with all sorts of crazy swazy upgrades for B-tier supervillains like the Bumbler and Pharaoh and Scorpion. Yeah, I said it. Scorpion's B-tier. Maybe even C-tier. I love Matt Gargan, but when was the last time he had a real villain plan? He's a jobber. Like, as much as he calls, like, the Enforcer's a jobber's jobber. Scorpion, I've seen you fight, baby. You ain't got nothing going on upstairs. Like, Normally, when a villain doesn't have a conscience, that would make them scary, but with you, it's just, you don't have intelligence, baby. Mac, you were this close to finding out Spider-Man's identity on your own, and then you bought it, baby. And now you're getting beaten up by baby Spider-Man. Not good. Yeah. Also, that weirdness with the cape killers, who ironically don't kill superheroes, they're just called that, and are essentially just the Thunderbolts. There's literally no difference between them, but they're here, and they're dancing on the Midnight Clam. Yeah. But, back to Miles. It's really good, and I wish Amazing Spider-Man could be this good. And I really emphasize could be, because Zeb Wells is not a bad writer. But editorial is clearly mangling anything good with that series, to the point where it's like, why even bother with it? Even the good concepts that come out of that book are done better in other books, such as Miles Morales' Spider-Man and Gold Goblin by whoever. I'm sorry, I don't remember the name of the writer. Is that all Amazing Spider-Man is supposed to be? Just the idea factory? Not the refinement of ideas, but just the creation of them? Making an idea is fine. It's important, but it's the execution that matters more. Peter Parker is the making of ideas. Miles Morales is how to execute them, at least in the modern times. I wish it was both in terms of execution, but that's just how it is right now. Also, one last subject of ASM's Spider-Man, Peter Parker. If I have to see him looking at a goddamn rocket engine one more goddamn time, I'm going to lose it. Pick up the goddamn camera and do some photojournalism, damn it. Team up with Ned Leeds. He's probably out of jail by now. God, wouldn't that be a book? Peter and Ned investigating shit? I'd love that. I would love that. But now we have Peter and Norman working on a costume that doesn't need to exist. This total action figure bait. The bug, the spider glider. Pointless. Miles, though, he is pure. He is good. He is what Spider-Man should be, and I love it. And Cody Ziglar, good on you. I've probably seen a lot of things you've also done. I've read you've done Futurama, Greg of the Creek, Rick and Morty, all sorts of stuff. And I'm glad you're out there, rocking it out with your nice pink hair. With that, like, comment, and subscribe. Donate if you're feeling nice. Share it with a bear. And always remember, praise be to the blood elk, fear the stabopotamus, and death to Kronos. When will my throat stop being sensitive? I do not know. Have a night, folks.